The 2022 FIFA World Cup will kick off in Qatar in just a couple of weeks in the very first winter edition of the tournament. Once again, for nearly a month, the world will stop and every participating country's hopes and dreams of glory will lie on the player representing their respective national teams. Today, we take a look at one of the most underrated teams in the tournament, Ecuador. Their history makes Ecuador one of the least successful soccer nations in South America, though La Tri has been trying to make up for lost time. Ecuador has become a much more regular presence at the World Cup in the 21st century, qualifying for 4 of the 6 tournaments since 2000. The high water mark came in 2006 when Ecuador made it out of its group and lost in a tough round of 16 knockout match against England 1-0. Ecuador is a passing team, a team that finds their biggest strength in their numbers game. The way that they are able to organize is unique. However, one of their biggest complications is literally putting the ball in the back of the net. CONMEBOL is by far one of the most complicated confederations of all of football. Qualifying with the likes of Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, Colombia, and so on is never an easy task, and again, over the course of the last years, Ecuador has managed to make it look seemingly easy, qualifying for 4 of the last 6 World Cups. However, how are Gustavo Alfaro's soldiers gearing up for the opening match of this year's winter edition of the tournament against the host nation of Qatar? Let's take a deeper look. Ecuador is one of the youngest national teams in America, and the roster is completely made up of extremely talented individuals like Moises Caicedo. We will get to him in a second, but this team has a lot more to offer, like Ener Valencia, Gonzalo Plata, and Piero Hincapié. If we try to predict the starting 11 that will kick off the tournament against Qatar, we will most likely see the former Monterrey star Alexander Dominguez on goal. He is a solid player with plenty of great performances under his belt, including a championship with Liga de Quito. However, Hernan Galindez has been on absolute fire for Aucas, and it seems that he will be leading the charge to make this team finally be able to lift the trophy with Ecuador. Defensively, Byron Castillo is one of the most controversial players in the world right now due to the rumors of him being Colombian instead of Ecuadorian. Regardless, as it stands, he is by far one of the most talented defenders in all of CONMEBOL and has proved it time and time again that he should be leading the charge defensively on opening day. Felix Torres from Santos Laguna is going to be a staple as center back along with Piero Hincapié, who is a very young but extremely talented and solid defender. With these 3 alone, Ecuador is able to show off one of the most talented backlines in all of the tournament, and they will show this in the winter. In the midfield, of course, the focus has to be placed on Moises Caicedo. The Brighton superstar has been wanted by the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. In fact, Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool has been keeping a close eye on him and wants him in red. Moises Caicedo is just 20 years old and is already one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Watching his explosiveness is absolutely incredible. Caicedo is the quintessential box-to-box midfielder, kind of like Pogba. He has the ability to dominate every area of the pitch. His flashiest contributions are probably those that he brings to the defensive side of the game. Caicedo has the quickness and the endurance to sprint all over the pitch. It is my dream to make the best World Cup in the country's history, so that the whole world talks about Ecuador, and I'm sure we're going to do it, he said. Carlos Grueso will also be helping Moises in the midfield and is going to be a great right-hand man for Caicedo. This will be his 2nd World Cup at a young age. Alan Franco and Jose Cifuentes will be the other option for Gustavo Alfaro as he predominantly runs a 4-3-3 formation. They all have been on fire and will definitely be a solid midfield this World Cup. Ecuador is definitely going to be an exciting team to watch. The attack is the main problem for Ecuador. Lack of goals has been a major issue. There is no one on fire at the moment on this line. Ecuador has been revered as a young squad, and for all the justified talk about their young guns, it is one of the few members of the old guard who will be tasked with putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's 32-year-old striker Ener Valencia. The man is experienced and has incredible talent. He's having a great season in Turkey right now, scoring 10 goals in 9 matches for Fenerbahce, and has long been a reliable source of goals for the national team. As the captain of the team, one of the few players with actual World Cup experience, and in the midst of a good run of form, Valencia could very well prove to be the one guiding Ecuador into the knockout rounds, or maybe beyond that with his goals. Romario Ibarra is another player that is looking to really succeed with Ecuador. He is fresh off winning the Liga MX championship with Pachuca, becoming the 15th player from Ecuador to lift the title. He is a dynamic, quick, and very versatile in front of goal player. However, Ailton Preciado is also someone that could try to take that spot. Gustavo Alfaro is very fond of this man, and therefore he has a chance to make it to the final roster coming off an injury. Ecuador is so young that this current roster is going to be able to play together for at least 3 World Cups. Expect to see these players in action through 2030, easily. They have a nice mix of age and experience, but even the younger players have plenty of experience as well. Ecuador will kick off their tournament against the host nation of Qatar, will face an always difficult Netherlands in the second match, and will close out the group stage against Sadio Mane and Senegal. What do you think of Ecuador's chances at this year's World Cup? We'll read you in the comments, and in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe.